Immunity and Consciousness, present by Quantum University. I'm Dr. Paul Drouin, medical doctor, founder and president of Quantum University. And I'd like to address this very important subject in this difficult moment of COVID-19 crisis. The problem of fear and how we address that and how we can, in some way, tone down the fear in facing this event that touch almost all the aspects of our society, from health, social environment, where we have to distanciate each other, economic crisis, loss of job, and so on. So, and then, of course, people recognize that the fear is an important component, but it's not just enough to say, hey, don't fear, So we need to come with a tool. We need to come with an investigation and get in touch with the power within to be able to raise up our physiology that go from a mode of stress, survival to a mode of travel. And this is what we will talk about today. This is important. Why? Because people in some way all the time try to grasp, something that is not necessarily the real answer as a way to calm their fear. By example, we say, hey, when the vaccine comes, we will be all okay, all safe. We are looking now at therapies, and I applaud all this. It's very important. But meaning that what? Next year, something different, another virus will maybe come along, and this is another vaccine, or it's another treatment. Another challenge to our health can also come along to, people are speaking about the 5G now. So what is the real answer? In some ways, like, we have to stay calm. And I already addressed it previously that we will raise our health potential. This is very important. Switch medicine the way it is, medicine of emergency, medicine of crisis, medicine disease-oriented, to a medicine that is more preventive, a medicine that is, will build the immunity of the individual face to all these challenges. You realize that, in this time, some people will not even have no problem. They will probably be building their own immunity, and we recognize already this. We have this asymptomatic carrier, and doesn't mean we cannot identify them, but it's like every season you have the flu that kill millions of people. Some never had the flu. Why? Because they are healthy, they exercise, they have a proper nutrition, they have a proper mental attitude, and they're probably already doing yoga or meditation and so on. And my daughter just came from India on a retreat of yoga. And then when she came back, she was just in the middle of this crowd, in Delhi. You can imagine people with masks and then the 24 hours of flight. And then she came back quarantine, of course, she has to be responsible, but never had any symptom, never had any diagnose. And then she was fine. Why? Because she was just in a state of enlightenment and in a state of unity after all these retreats. So no, not saying anything can harm her, but she was in a space where her biofield was properly balanced and her immune system was properly balanced, and so on. So this is what we will talk about today. And let's go to the first slide. So yes, this is what I'm talking about. Solution is within, to address fear. And this is about, of course, you probably understood that this is about meditation, but meditation is way more than just a relaxation technique. Access the power, this powerful and any adversity. So let's come back to the studio. So when I'm talking about meditation, it's very important because following this presentation, you will also be able to have access to the Pro Consciousness Meditation course. That is that is more than just a relaxation technique. You know, when we speak about meditation, people think, oh, I don't have the time. And by the way, you are in quarantine now. You have more time. And then they think it's like you just lay on the couch and then you have some fantasy or guiding imagery or you relax and people they just 90% of people they're just thinking about meditation. It's like I don't have time. It's boring. No, this is not what it is. You know, through the pro-consciousness meditation course is designed to this knowledge of quantum physics because we can harvest an infinite energy that is within us. And there is technique for that. And there is tradition for 100 years of coming from India and coming from Hinduism and coming even from Christian tradition that has trained and teach people to go at this level where you reach this infinite potential. And people has give this many names: contemplation, meditation, Kundalini yoga, and so on. So what I have blended this course are, the best of all. So because when you speak about meditation, you have to integrate the breath. It's very important. You have also to calm the mind, and there is very powerful technique that are already around for years. And then you have also, you need to reshape your biofield accordingly to a blueprint that is in this perfect order. And this is where Crystal came along. So I will just shortly go through all the stage of this meditation. But at the end of the day, you have to realize that this within, there is an infinite source of energy that can only, it's not just improving your health, but reshape your reality. And we are in this moment that we need to have to already project, what would be the next step. Now we are kind of in a crisis, in a dark side, and then either you go in the negative and just say word, oh, it will take years before the economy comes back, and we never go where we were before. This is very important, that how you master your mind. Very important, the thinking you will have, because you can also think, hey, after that, thing would then even be better than ever. And then you can already project your new reality. If you are part of the program of Quantum University, you can already project that you will be this new doctor, teaching this new health reality. You could be a coach. You already have a path that can, align with this new vision within. Very, very important. And it's true not only just in this crisis. It's true when you have to face any type of challenge. How many times in life, during the last decade, hurricane, fire, tsunami, and people were totally devastated. And then after that, they rebuild, they reconstruct, they do better. And this is in some way in the genetics of human being. But as soon you start to work at this, better it is. And then of course you tap in this infinite field of possibilities, and doing this, you can create a greater awareness. And this is what's happened in spontaneous healing. People have cancer, they do an awakening, and then they see the reality differently, and then from there they recreate their health. And this is part of what we are teaching, and it's even more important at this moment, because we have to address not only our individual consciousness, we have to address the collective consciousness. People are looking now, who is the guilt? Who has created this virus? They are looking at the bath. Some people say even it's a human-made. It matters and it doesn't matter, because in some way, the collective consciousness has allowed this to be manifested. So many movies in the last decade about, this virus killing the world around. It's not only that, but it's like collectively, we have to understand we have a responsibility to shift the way to look at things, toward more creativity, more solution, more human humanism sharing around. So in some way, collective consciousness has created that. And sometimes, you know, you have people that do some horror, crime, and kill people. People think, oh yeah, he is the guy. No, collectively, in some way, we have created an environment that everyone has some way participate to it. So, and meditation is what it is. It's like you recreate a new reality, more in tune with the design of universe. And when people join to this new vision, of course, you start to shift the collective consciousness. And this is what is about the Project Noosphere. This is what we create, the Project Noosphere. And it is just starts to build on and on. and many people already understood this new reality. Very renowned teacher, Dr. Dispenza, you know, is one of them. Dr. Gamit Goswami and others already understand that, you know, we have to go beyond the mind, and this is the pro consciousness meditation. So let's come back to the slide. Now I have another point to comment. I like you realize too what we call the Virome. You know, yeah, this is the other point now before we go to Taylor, but we have 380 trillion virus. This is what we call the Virome that already are in harmony with our 8 trillion cell. Can you come back to the studio? Think about this. In other words, you know, these virus were not our friends a decade or 100 years ago, but as we grow, we have evolved. We have what we call the microbiome, this bacteria, and then the virome that in some way are part of our physiology, and which we are now friends. We have, you know, they have a function and they support our life. And then what? There is one a newcomer along, you know, the bad guy, the coronavirus. And what do you think will happen? Yeah, this guy will mutate, and then we will create a new immunity, and then sooner or later another one will come, and then this is life. This is the way it's happening. And because people are thinking the thing will never be the same, and now we would have to change. You know, this is greater than that. It's like, no, we will evolve. We will create a new immunity. We will grow, and then this bad guy will be a friend tomorrow. So, so you have to understand that you need to in some way empower what is powerful, not empower a virus that will destroy the world and destroy everything around you. No, you are greater, bigger than this, because you have life, you have consciousness. And then I will talk about, you know, I have some link I share with you with this conference, and one with Dr. Taylor that is looking, is making us reflecting. And you remember this movie, What the Bleep Do We Know? About, you know, how much energy is in the vacuum. So he take like an atom he speak about an atom of hydrogen. And can you come back to the slide? There is like more energy because the density of the vacuum, more energy in a hydrogen atom than trillions of the mass of universe for 20 billion year light. So can you imagine that? So in other words, and how we have access to this, let's come back to the studio now, how you get access to this energy. The answer is meditation. But this is not any kind of meditation. It's not just like a flowing thinking or, you know, a walk in the park. No, this is a technique where you, first of all, you have to settle your mind at this, I call the singularity point. And then from there, access, you know, the consciousness, universal consciousness. And there is a way to do this. And that was one of the, you know, my research for all these years, you know, because yeah, in my, in my 20s, I went with Marishi and, for a year, studying consciousness. And then I went to other different schools. I'm sharing this in this course for consciousness meditation. So in other words, I have gathered, the best of all, and then I have put this science available in this for consciousness meditation. How we harvest this energy that is incredible, at the level of the vacuum. And this is why people like, has created some miracle, and by the way, it's not something that is reserved to one individual. No, and something spontaneously we access this field, and you can see all these events, spontaneous healing and others happening. So this is very important at this time. It's like, hey, we have to settle down the mind. We have to reach a state of peace and harmony, and then enlighten. From there, you recreate a new reality. You recreate the reality of the life with abundance and prosperity, and then, a vision of a futurist world where, we will not be bothered by either a virus or, frequency and so on. Because we're greater than this. And if collectively we go there, we learn these technique. I'm not the only one to promote some, but this knowledge is so precious for the evolution of humanity in the next decade, because we cannot just be on this linear way of behavior. The linear way is just trying to fix things with your mind, coming with short answer to problem. No, we have to access what Dr. Goswami called the fundamental creativity. And not only that, we have to be in tune with the universe. What we call there is like an innate intelligence. They already is already mastering the whole evolution of the world. So let's go back. And now, okay, I spoke about the other point in this slide. And one is about what I call, it's not a relaxation, but there is a key word here. Meditation is also what I call a conscious linkage. So meaning that, okay, you get in this mode of alpha, which is calmness. But from there, you can link, with your core being, and then accordingly to your own belief and faith, because you have different culture, and this is not to convert anybody, but this is from there that you consciously link with your divine source. If you are a Christian, it's Christ. If you are a Buddhist, is Buddha, whatever. And every culture and every religion can give some name to this divine source. This is where this is very secret. This is where you don't try to bring people in just to your own way to do things. So, but this is another way, a way technique to access this reservoir of energy, and from there you can create a conscious linkage, with your own divine source. This is very important. More your meditation becomes something that is real, that is linked with your purpose, that is linked with emotional, emotional qualities, stronger is the manifestation, because now you're not anymore like your little ego trying to master, control thing around. Now you are working with the whole synergy of the universe. You are creating a synchronicity of event that even yourself cannot even imagine. So the outcome will be even greater that you can never imagine. Your vision will be even greater that you even can imagine, because you're linking with this core source of your being. So next slide, please. I have to go quick here because you will find this, the next one, please. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. So the program consciousness meditation that will be available, and then there will be if you like, a donation, but we make it available to everybody on the Noosphere, following this conversation, and then also we will also create a guided meditation specific for the coronavirus. So getting in touch with your core being, this is the main component. Okay, in other words, you have a biofield. This is what I have shown in this, that you will reshape. And then, of course, we use crystal. And then with this presentation, you will have two videos that has been the blog of Michele Kattke, which is a PhD in crystallography, that explain the science behind the crystal. Why are we using this? And it's very important you see these videos that are in attachment to this conference, because you will have a visual of the energetic circulation, and you will have an understanding of why we are using crystal in the pro-consciousness meditation, because they have a piezoelectric effect. The pineal, which is indicated by the arrow here, most people has this pineal dormant. And already there is a piezoelectric effect in the pineal, because you have a micro quartz, and the crystal also has a piezoelectric effect. So that in some way wake up this dormant pineal gland. So, and then there is also technique of breathing, and there is also crystal associated with it. Let's go to the next slide. And then everything in the pro-consciousness meditation course is explained, because we create a lot of relation with quantum physics, because quantum physics is a map to understand how you work universe, how work energy, what is the quantum mechanic of the world. So here, this is the main component of this meditation. So we use a soul thought sound, a mantra that we call a coherent mantra, associated with the breath, and support with crystal, with manifestation, the singular experience of light. So if I could resume the pro-consciousness meditation, this is what it is. It's a mix of mantra, sound, crystallography, experience of light. So again, at the bottom, thought, non-local mental body, spiritual thought, bliss, spiritual light. So let's come back to the studio. So for experiment, sometimes we say, hey, no, this is more available to experimented meditator, but no, most of the time, experienced meditator have too many habits, and they reach like a ceiling, a plateau. And then to go out from this plateau, they have to experience different things. So this meditation is for everybody. And then we will explain, this in this course. But holding the crystal, to the pineal gland, you have probably like a 45-degree here. In some way you create, and then you don't touch the skin, but you're pretty close. Maybe a half inches, and then this has an effect on the pineal. And then you will see this also in the course with Michele Kattke. It's very visually very well illustrated by our very talented video Aaron. So in other words, so again, you will, and then people say, oh yeah, I get tired, and then you can put your pillow here at the beginning, but you will realize that there is a circulation of energy that naturally hold your arm. For some that has practiced yoga before the Kundalini yoga, they know that. It's like this, you don't even feel your arm after a certain time, because the whole field is supporting and then of course there is a way to process the mantra, very important, that will be teaching the course. You can use also this diamond crystal that in some way reshape the field, help to create a more harmonious field that is, and Nassim has talked a lot about this flower of life. So quantum physics now is supporting meditation, a deeper access to the field. So let's go to the next slide. And I wanted this presentation just present you some aspect, and then of course you will have an access to this course. Okay, here's the breathing technique, because the breath is so important. We have two techniques here that we use. We call the fire breath and the ladder breath. And my dear daughter, a few years ago, recorded that. So she showed how to use this. Let's come back to the studio. Because, what explained also Michele Kattke, you have at the base, you pull at the base of the spine, the energy, to the pineal. And because we have this cerebral cerebral fluid, this creates a pressure on the ventricle and then on the pineal gland. So in other words, you again enhance this piezoelectric effect, with your breathing. But at the bottom, you have to, wake up the energy. So you will use the spin in and out of the crystal, when you do your breathing. And the fire breath is like this. And my daughter is explaining this. And then the louder breath, then you stage by stage, you bring this energy at the pineal. So first, you at the hara, and then the heart, and then the pineal gland, and then there is also a rhythm. So just at the beginning, I invite you to go on our guided meditation where we practice this breathing. It's very well explained. And the guiding meditation is not necessarily the pro-consciousness meditation. It's probably a startup for beginners where you already will integrate the breathing and then visualize, how you go over the sphere of coronavirus, and then the pro-consciousness meditation is more like investigating this energy a little bit deeper. So next slide, please. And this is work, I'm talking about things, it's not like came out of my mind a few days ago. No, we've been talking about like 45 years of meditation. So here you have okay, you have this slide, it's about the cerebrospinal fluid. Dr. Kattke will illustrate this very well with a video, this phenomena of pump, where you contract the perineal muscle, you hold, and you bring, by stage, the energy at the pineal gland using the mechanic of the cerebrospinal fluid. And Dr. Dispenza is also a tenet of this practice, He does this with thousands of people. Next slide, please. Okay, consciousness may be the result of the brain tapping into the field of information. So consciousness is a field of information that's all around us and that make up all our reality. So this is, doing this technique, you create, let's come back to the studio. You create a greater awareness, of course, because the thing doesn't get solved in your mind. It's not because you have a problem, you spin the problem forever in your head and then try to find a solution. No. Most of the problems are solved when you reach this greater awareness. And then most of the time when you are there, it's a state of peace, harmony. It's a space when you can see light, and then in that space, this is where you create things, you're manifesting, you have your visualization. So more you go in some way subtle, and that mantra will bring you at this point of singularity, and then after that, you bless, you bliss, you pop in this mode. This is where healing happen, new awareness happen, new consciousness shift happen. Next slide, please. Next slide. Yeah. Okay. Here again, I'm revising the technique, the fire breath at the base of the spine, the louder breath, and then this is what we call the event horizon. When you have the crystal originally, you have like 5 minutes at the pineal. And then when you have reached this point of singularity, and it's like a point where there is no thought, then, you shift a little bit to the crown chakra where you raise up, your awareness. Next slide, please. And this picture was taken at the at the height of Chenaman Hat, I believe. Okay, here you see now this is the movie Thrive with Nassim Haramein. He explained the biofield. So in some way, this biofield, and then when you have seen also the video from Michele Kattke, you see that, this flow, and this is what I call in the course, the atomic heart in the Taoist medicine. So in other words, in the core of the spine, this tremendous flow of energy will flow in, will flow out, and create this torus field. But you don't even have to think about it, because doing this is what's happened. And this biofield, this is in some way what strengthens the immune system. In other words, if it's this biofield is really harmonious, charged with a lot of energy, and you meditate regularly, you create a shield. And this is another way to see. Next slide, please. How you create your resistance, your immune system. So quantum physics and meditation. So in other words, in the course, you will see all these symbols, the black hole, the singularity point, how you reach that. You have to understand, quantum mechanics and the smallest quantity of energy that we call the quanta. But how you do that, think about it. The thought is an impulse of energy. So if you go at the source of thinking, you reach this singularity point. The similarity between the interactivity of the brain and universe, taking advantage of the understanding to enhance meditation. Okay, let's come back to the studio. Yeah, so when we say singular, why is it so important? Because if you want to manifest things, okay, you come with a gross thought. If you already settle at this low level of awareness, high level of awareness, but low level, of subtlety, you're probably an enlightened person. But most of the time, if you say things loud, it's less powerful than if you say something very subtle. So using the mantra, and there's a science to use the mantra. It's not like, repeating things. No, it's a passive attention. We describe this very carefully because it's so important. Because people think, you force your mind, and you see this in this movie, a guy twists and forces his mind and then something happens. No, this is in a passivity state where you tune with your universe. So mind, thought by themselves, because they are attractive. They will go, toward this density that we talk of the vacuum that we're talking about. And then come a time that there's no thought anymore. So in other words, you are connected with everything. So, and then of course it may take some time, because people most of the time they start to meditate, and then the thinking is like a vagabond. Okay. So this is why you use this. And by the way, people, if they were practicing this, they would have way more focus, more attention. The ADD will not even exist. I can focus for hours, when I start to work on project, because I do meditation. So this is quality that you can build in, like any athlete, build the muscle or build on anything else. You can build this, and then explain this in the course. And I also done some experiment, I had like, I test, I'm not saying it's a scientific experience, but I don't experiment with muse and see how more coherent was the mind when I was in this state. And then I have brain mapping, showing theta waves, and when I am in the moment of creation. And I was doing also inner balance with heart math to see that when I am in this mode of meditation, I have more heart rate variability. Coherence. So it's how it brings at the same time, when you reach this level of bliss, state of coherence, better awareness, better brain waves, better coherence, and so on. So let's go back to the next slide. So I share with you that it's probably the most important course I have done, because in some way you can learn, acquire a knowledge, but more important, experience the source of knowledge. This is the most important. So we're speaking about the Planck constant, infinitesimal spiritual particle, And then this is where we use the coherence mantra to experience that. Next slide, please. And then everybody, is all the time, looking for light. Well, this is where the light within appear when you reach these singularity state. And then, as I said, you shift a little bit the crystal tower from the pineal to what I call the thalamic gate. I explained this in the course. Next slide, please. So, and then the flower of life, so much literature. You can, Nassim Haramein has commented a lot about this. It's like the blueprint of how that hold the universe together. This is the flower of life, all these tetrahedron tied together. There's another course, but I'm speaking about this also in the course. Relate with the sacred geometry, the breathing, and so on. Next slide, please. So flower of life contain the ancient religious value that represent fundamental form of all space. It's like, in other words, it's like what shape, the vacuum. And the flower of life in some way is like the blueprint of what hold everything within. It's a secret symbol known as the fruit of life. The fruit is known as the basis of the design. So there's so many literature built on that. And this is why, let's come back to the studio. We are using these crystal, when we do meditation, that has the same print of the flower of life, but at the same time, can help to support your biofield. Next slide, please. Okay, next slide. Okay, so and the brain, some have also done some research. You have similar to crystal radio in the the brain. If tuned the antenna, it's called the microtubule. So it's amazing now. They discover different part of the brain, different, like the medulla oblongata that we'll talk about. Michele Kattke, it's like this antenna. And then if you look at the structure of the brain, you have this microtubule that act like antenna. So these are in some way the organ, the support of that can collapse this deeper state of consciousness. Please, and then allow us to access a field of information, infinite field of information. Next slide, please. Okay, so let's come back to the studio now. So that was the most risky part of this, because in some way this course is very precious, has many information, and then ideally is like we will do retreat and then do practicum, but the time is so critical, we don't have the time for this anymore. And then when you receive the mantra, I all the time, coherence mantra, I all the time recommend make it sacred. The time when you see the course, you come at this I believe is the chapter 7, you make a special kind of, and respect your habits, the way you receive a very old friend or someone you love, and you would put flower on the table and some music, and so create some kind of set concept that you remember the moment you receive the mantra. So make something that is special, and this is the way to receive that. I don't recommend to say, hey, loud your mantra when you have received it. Keep it for yourself. I don't create any magic around this, because some people have set of mantra according to the age or the character. Now I just use one that is as more like an etymology meaning. The father, the mother. So this belongs to all the culture. The meaning of this mantra has nothing special, and there's an etymology in the sound. So I explain this in the course. Next slide, please. Okay, and then you will see there is different protocol, but usually I like to have this 10-minute
First of all, you do the breathing that you will see in the course, and then you can also start to practice the breathing with the guided meditation of the Noosphere. And then of course, when the breathing is done, then you warm up the pineal gland, and then after that you exit with the thalamic gate to your source. So you can be like 5 minutes, on the pineal, and thalamic gate 10 minutes. And then after that, then you can also do other exercise. You can, point the heart chakra, or the hara. Many other courses will follow up now that where I show you the different technique. It's very important. But just at the base, originally, you need to master the coherence mantra. And then as it goes, you will have this deeper experience. Can you, next slide? So we give here, so they say 5 minutes forehead, meaning the pineal, the way I show up to you, and then you can point the crown chakra. So this is where you raise up your light, and then you then do the heart and the hara center for 5 minutes. But the different protocol can follow up, and I would give more class, to explain that. And this is also tied with the Taoist medicine course. Next slide, please. Okay, so Noosphere is about this is what I talked at the very originally. Next slide. It's like we created a next consciousness accelerator, and this is the idea. Can you come back to the studio? So in other words, of course, if I'm alone doing this in my room, I will have an impact, on the collective consciousness. But when I start to be 2 or 3, it's already better. And this is what's written in the Bible. You feel 2 or 3 to bring my name. Because, when you are in this subtle space, you connect with your divine source, If you're a Christian, of course, then, and then, as I said originally, so then, it can pack. But now, we have 1,000 people in the Noosphere. And I'm not like, it's not a religion. So I'm all the time inviting people, let's join. Everybody has common denominator. Everybody agree, heal yourself, heal the world. So, and then you can come with different background, different technique of meditation. I share this one here because, this is my research. Some people will share different thing. As it grows, we will have different guided meditation on the Noosphere. That's respect every color, every culture, every whatever. So because we can all learn from each other. So, and then but collectively, now the time we're having crisis time. The importance to heal yourself, heal the world is even more than before. Why heal yourself? Even if you don't have the virus, you have to create a new collective consciousness. You have to belong to a vision that is not saying, hey, we all die and then tomorrow would be so bad and the economy would go down. And now you have to think positive. Out of this, I will create a new reality that is even better, bigger than before. Why? Because what was before was not, you cannot tell me that was perfect. We all shake. The whole world crumbled with a little virus when we have already 380 trillion virus in our system. So we lost the vision. This little dot virus now, take the whole reality. We have to shrink this, empower, where is the reality, and the reality is within, and not the only one to speak about this. So we need to have this immunity consciousness built within, because as it comes, the decade it comes, this is the one that has been strengthened. Giving back the power of healing to the individual means that you need to teach people to get to their core, where you have a reservoir of energy that is infinite. That let's say, hey, in the vacuum of hydrogen atom, you have trillions more energy than in all the mass of the universe, all the star and all the galaxy. It's huge. But we are ignorant. We give power to what is outside. we give power to our fear, we give power to this and power to that, and we forget that the greater reality is within. So the visible universe is not even 0.0001%. And then this is all what is exists. No, there is more within, but the knowledge to access that is so important. So I think we are the last slide now. And so what is come now, you have, please watch the link that are associated with this class, this, talk on immunity and consciousness. Go visit the Project Noosphere in any time. Soon we will have a live meditation that I will do here, the 22nd, I think, the day Earth. Now we're going to the this special week before Easter, which is in some way a time where we should die at our old paradigm and our old idea and this empowerment of things that are wrong, and resurrect with this new reality, new greater awareness, because this is what is resurrection. Let's be in touch with the infinite possibility, and Christ in some way has showed that he had it. Of course, he couldn't even rebuild himself from death. So this is kind of an example of what we're talking about, but a greater magnitude. I don't want to say, we have the magnitude of what he done 2,000 years ago, but he has certainly proven that, you can resurrect from death to we can resurrect from old thinking and old path and the darkness to this new solution. And then we will also post on the Noosphere a new guided meditation. Please come. You will have access to the Pure Consciousness course, and usually, of course, this is a program that we sell for, I believe this is $450, but it's available now. You can just give whatever, because I like to have like an exchange, but just go with your what you can do at this time. More important is we all learn as quick as possible to access this source of infinite energy. And please visualize the attachment that are with the course. Thank you very much. Have a happy Easter, and enjoy your new knowledge with the Pure Consciousness meditation.